morning, everybody. This is a very special song that I wrote for my stepdad. He used to look out his back window when it was windy, and when I was talking to him on the phone, he would tell me that the trees were dancing. Thank you.
Thank you. What a lovely start. Good morning. And welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Audrey Pickett-Tice, and I'm today's worship assistant. We welcome you to this amazing congregation, whether this is your first time or 1,000th time. We know you come here for different reasons, to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths. How's this mic doing? Is this okay? Yeah, okay, great. To question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find answers to some of your bigger questions. We know you come from different places, different theologies, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. We hope you will find comfort and connection, challenge, and love here. After the service, all are invited to join us for social time social time for light refreshments. Our main fellowship hall is on this floor directly behind the sanctuary, and you can reach it through this hallway. And our family-friendly fellowship hall with snacks and activities for all ages is upstairs in room 214, accessible by the back stairs or elevator. And after fellowship time, please join us for religious exploration and small group gatherings listed on the back of your order of service. It is such a joy to be together in community. All right, we will now light our chalice as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalism. And Cora Jean-Pierre will light our chalice today. Thank you, Cora. Oh, there's a little bit left. Can we get it? All right, we need a relight here. Woohoo! Okay. We light our chalice in the spirit of these words by Reverend Cynthia Landrum. For the wonder and inspiration we seek from sun and stars and all the lights of the heavens, we light this chalice. Thank you. And now, in the spirit of love and the beloved community, let's share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. And next, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to turn to your neighbors and offer greetings. And for those online, please use the chat to introduce yourself. Today's opening words are by Daniel Chesney Cantor. To love life is to notice the wonders that abound. And to notice the wonders that abound is to be grounded here and now. And to be grounded here and now is the beginning of finding love for this life today. Let us ground ourselves in this instant in the worship of all things good and right. Join us for our opening hymn, number 1052, The Oneness of Everything. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Cora, would you come help me with the stones? Thank you. We pause for a moment to put our joys and our concerns and the matters of our heart out to the community for support. Each week you're invited to write in this book, and also you can share them online if you're ever at home or visiting us online, and to share with pastoral care at emersonuu.org. We place 3 stones this week. First, we place a stone in honor of the Cherokee and the Muskogee nations of the indigenous peoples of whose land we reside on. A second is in memory for those wrongly enslaved who labored on this land. And third, if you could get a really, really big one, the biggest one there. This is for all those hurting in current conflicts and war across our globe, and especially in the Middle East. And I placed one this morning with a quiet prayer for the shootings that happened at a synagogue. A friend of mine who's a UU minister, who's also of the Jewish faith, said she felt scared to put on her Star of David this morning. I'm going to start with this. Eric Johnson puts a stone in in remembrance of Oma, Sonja, mom, who would have been 88 on her last birthday this past Monday. Oh, we have a joy. Stephen Rogers, where are you? Hi, Stephen. I've decided to run for office. I'm running for Cherokee County Commissioner, District 4, and I could use everyone's support and good vibes to run a successful campaign. Clark Thomas has a joy. I got my first fish set up with 9 cute neon tetras. And here's another joy from Star Ashburn. This one's really big. Where is Star? She's in the nursery. Let's all give her a congratulations because she applied to Portland Clare University and found out Friday that I've been accepted for the fall semester. And the last one from Julie Glazer is that I am delighted to announce that I will be facilitating a weekly recovery Dharma group here, starting on Friday, and you can reach her for more information. Want to raise your hand? Hi, Julie. Thank you. One last stone core for all the things that are yet to be unsaid. Sometimes we just don't have the words yet. But know we are here for you when you're ready. If you share with me the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Douglas Futch. I am the president of the Emerson Board of Trustees. It's good to be with you all today. It's nice to see such a big crowd, especially since all the youth are at Ebenezer Baptist Church this morning, learning about how to be a good Baptist for them. That'll be fun for them. It's a Black Baptist church. It'll be fun. So here we are. It's that time of the year again when we need to pause and reflect on how blessed we are to have this community. I was at an event last night, and we were talking, and the person who was running it said, you know, that joy and community are active resistance. And I think that's kind of the way we are here at Emerson. Reverend Christina and Michael Lukens and all the people on the ministry teams do such a great job of creating a place where we want to be here every week. It's our respite and our safety and our place to grow. It doesn't come without a price, and that's why I'm here, because it costs $1,130 a day to run this place. So it costs $465,000 a year to run this place. We do all the math, and as the president of the board, it's my responsibility and ours as a board to make sure that we can pay for that, but we can't do it without each of you. There's a bunch of packets like this in the back table, and I would really appreciate if you would go take one. It's time for you to do your pledge again this year. We're suggesting that every family pay for 2 days. That's all we need. And if everybody paid for 2 days, we would be in really, really, really good shape. But it's like, the reality though is some people can afford 5 days and some people can afford an hour. And that's okay. Whatever is you're able to contribute is what we need. But that's the way that this place will remain the wonderful safety place of joy that it is. If you haven't filled out your packet already, please grab one in the back and do so. There's a red envelope in it to put your pledge form in, hand it to me, or you can take it to Emily in the office, or you can drop it in that little box back there and we'll enter it for you. There's also instructions on how to do it yourself in Realm. And I would really appreciate if each of you would fill it out if you haven't already. We need $365,000 this year because we're blessed that the Garden School pays $48,000 of our costs. But we're at I think about 132 right now, so we really need to bump it up. And there are packets in the back. If anybody would like one, feel free to take one. And thank you.
All right, the offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit, it's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to this people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Each week, Emerson shares half of our offering with community partners beyond our walls. This month, we will share the offering with NAMI Cobb. NAMI is the National Alliance for Mental Illness and is an organization that supports families, friends, and individuals whose lives have been affected by mental illness. Please reach out to Reverend Christina and the pastoral care team if you need additional information and support for yourself or a loved one. For those in the sanctuary, as the basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or see in your order of service for other ways to give. For those online, go to emersonuu.org, select the Giving tab to donate. And for children and those with a sweet tooth, there are lollipops in the basket as well. The morning offering will now be given and received with gratitude.
I invite the young and young at heart to come up and sit with us in the front. We'll have a small group today with all of our junior and senior youth on their trip. Good morning, everybody. Come on up. Great.
Good morning, everybody. So this morning we are going to read a book together, and then with Reverend... Hello, there we are. With Reverend Christina's help, we're going to also sing a song today. The book and song are about the importance of everything in nature and interconnectedness, right? From the little things to the big things. All right. Who here likes nature? Are you big fans? Yeah, me too. Me too. What's something you love in nature, Cora? Everything. Yeah. Yeah. Flowers. Yeah, I love flowers too. What about you? Yeah? You like the animals. Yeah, me too. What about you? You like a lot of things. Yeah, I like insects and wildflowers a lot. Those are really exciting to me. So this book is called Because of an Acorn. I like acorns too. They're small. They hold a lot of promise, right? They have little hats. It's true. Because of an acorn. They do, yeah. Because of an acorn, a tree. Because of a tree, a bird. Because of a bird, a seed. Because of a seed, a flower. Because of a flower, a fruit. Because of a fruit, a chipmunk. Uh-huh, yeah. Because of a chipmunk, a snake. Yeah, because of a snake, a hawk. Because of a hawk, yep, everybody gets hungry, right? Because of a hawk, an acorn. Did you see how that fell? How the acorn fell? Yeah. Because of an acorn, a forest. Yeah. There you go. Yay, awesome. So we're going to sing a song together. You all are going to have to help me, okay? I'm going to teach it to you. I'll sing it once through, and then we'll sing it together, and it also has some movements. But this song, kind of like the book, is circular. So it's going to start in the same place that it ends. Cool? All right, so we'll sing it once through. Bruce, can you give me the key just so I start in the same place? Thank you. Yay. Yeah, can you all stand? Can you guys stand with me? Yeah. So it'll have some movement, so you can kind of jump in as you start to get the hang of it. I'll sing it once through, and then we'll sing it 3 times together. So big people in the audience, you are also welcome to join us. Yeah. Standing like a tree with my roots dug deep, my branches wide and open. Down comes the rain, down comes the sun, down comes the fruit, to a heart that is open to be standing like a tree with my roots dug down, our branches wide and open. Down comes the rain, down comes the sun, down comes the fruit, to a heart that is open to be standing like a tree with my roots dug down, my branches wide and open. Down comes the rain, down comes the sun, down comes the fruit, to a heart that is open to be standing like a tree with my roots dug down, my branches wide and open. Down comes the rain, down comes the sun, down comes the fruit, to a heart that is open to be standing like a tree with my roots dug down,
As we enter a time of meditation and prayer, I first want to start with a story. And Keith, we're going to share an image of this story right at the end, okay? I was driving along a road in Portland, Oregon, and I had been there for a conference, and I arrived a few days early because I knew I wanted some time to go to the mountains. At this time, I was living in Houston, Texas, which you know is very, very flat. I had been busy in my life, always going, always doing, and I knew that I needed to go to the mountains because it was like I was driven to put my feet back on the ground. I kept imagining myself taking off my shoes and just being barefoot on the earth to feel grounded again. So as I drove down this highway to Mount Hood, I noticed that there were waterfalls coming down from the mountaintops. And some of them had big buses with lots of people. And then I saw a sign for one that didn't have very many cars. And I thought, I'll stop. And I didn't know this, but it was very accessible. Some of the others were big and grand, and you could stand in front of them and marvel at their size. But this one, you could get up close. So I walked a little path from the parking lot, and there was a bench to sit at. And I sat for a few minutes to contemplate. And then I felt my body relax. And I took a deep breath. As I sat there, though, I spied, just to the right of the waterfall, a little worn path that went from where the bench was to a rock platform where you could get up close and stand right next to the pool of water at the bottom of the waterfall. I thought, should I explore it? I might slip. I might get muddy. I might get wet and my clothes would get all damp, so I tried to talk myself out of it. But I was drawn to go closer. I decided to take the risk. I took my shoes off to be barefoot on the earth. And I left the safe, dry area and walked the little dirt path. And I reached that small, wet rock platform, and I listened to that intense sound of the thundering sound of water falling. I could feel myself getting wet and damp as the water sprayed off. And then I became transfixed by that feeling of the water droplets on my cheek. At that moment, I was not thinking of my to-do list. I was not thinking of all the things of the future or my worries of the past. I was solely in that present moment. That moment took my breath away. And I realized that what was mixing in with those water droplets on my cheeks were my own tears. I felt awe and reconnection with the grandness and the beauty of the natural world. And I felt grief. I admitted that my life was so busy with allotted time and goals that I was not allowing myself time to stop, to just be, to be still, to be silent, and to recognize what it felt like to be in my body. These words of Maya Angelou are so wise. She said, "Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away." Would it be okay if we showed the picture now, Keith? If you notice, just in the corner, the little path, do you see it? I invite you now to join me just for a moment. Feel yourself comfortable in the chair. Take a breath. Feel your body supported in the chair. Feel the weight of your bones held and embraced by gravity. Feel your feet grounded on the floor. I invite you to remember a time when you were fully present to the natural world around you. Might be an exotic place, a memory of the mountains or the ocean, or perhaps it was your garden this morning. Let yourself go there and feel your feet on the earth and just be for a moment. What does your body tell you? What does it need? May we listen for what our bodies yearn for and find ways to care for ourselves with compassion and commitment. This is our prayer. May it be so. And we're going to play a video from Peter Mayer, who's a Unitarian Universalist singer-songwriter. And this beautiful video is our anthem today.
When I go outside at night and look up and the stars are bright, sometimes I lay on the ground and imagine that the sky is down. And if the earth should then let go, I'd fall into the stars below. I'd fall into the stars below. When I see the red sunset in its quiet splendor, I reflect that sun's not going down at all, but the earth is turning somersaults. And through his sunlit sea trails, we are on that great big whale. We're riding on that great big whale. Try to grasp the simple fact of this existence. Think of all the fantasies, fairy tales and wishes. None strike me as more unlikely or magnificent than this is. hands and faces seen up close, galaxies through telescopes, crimson hillsides in the fall, more astounding than them all are pondering minds with eyes that see. These are deep mysteries, deep mysteries. When I try to grasp the simple fact of this existence, think of all the fantasies, fairy tales and wishes, none strike me as more unlikely or magnificent than this is. Like a strange enchanting play of impossible dimensions, the setting and the stage run light years in all directions, and the breathless scenes, the storyline defy comprehension. And when I think of all the roles in this production, all I know is I'm in the cast, but could it be I'm also in a front row seat to sit in my amazement, gazing to ooh and ah, to sigh and say, my, what a wonderful play. My, my,
Universalist, and I have identified as a humanist for my adult life after having grown up in Sunday school of the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Houston, Texas. And it is very clear to me that religious experience is more than just the intellectual idea of one. It's like talking about love and being in love. Religious experience is when you are changed. It's when you are moved and you feel closer to that which gives you meaning. And Unitarian Universalism, as it has moved further from the Christian Protestant tradition and moved into a more multi-pluralistic example of accepting all of religious thought, has had real trouble trying to describe the histories and from which it comes with regards to our relationship with nature and our understanding of science. I think sometimes we are caught between these two ideas and we dance between them, and I'd like to explore that a little bit today. On one hand, and from the mid-1800s, from liberal Christian thought came transcendentalism. And transcendentalism, excuse me, I need some water, that's a big word. Transcendentalism held that we are not to be separated from God, that we are one with all and all is in us. The idea of being closer to God is that we can do so in nature, and at the time, the argument from Unitarian Transcendentalist ministers was that you didn't need to be in a sanctuary, which were usually made of stone and felt cold. So the saying was, wouldn't it be better to walk the path to God than to sit in the cold stone room? Unitarian minister Ralph Waldo Emerson emphasized that intuition was our connection to the divine, and the Spirit was present in all of us and to all of us. It was all around us in nature, and especially in the trees. He preached, "I would find myself in God's sanctuary by walking in the woods, alone, quiet and still, with the wind on my cheeks, and I could hear the bird song and know that that was God's voice." It was not something separate from him, he said. God was there and I was a part of it. And his protege, Henry David Thoreau, embodied transcendentalist ideals by practicing self-reliance, valuing intuition over dogma, and he found spiritual depth in nature, and most notably documented in his book on Walden Pond. So we have transcendentalism on this hand. And on the other hand, Unitarian Universalist faith has a deep commitment to humanism. In 1933, the Humanist Manifesto was published by religious thinkers from all around the world, and especially those who were scientists. It was a seminal body of thought that was a convergence of religious, social, and the scientific ideas of the time. At that point, remember that science was a burgeoning field of information and exploration. It gave us new understandings of the universe and a sense of our place in it. In a sense, the universe was expanding, and our place of understanding in it was getting smaller and smaller. The manifesto signers were attempting to introduce the world to a new kind of religious thought, one that left those myths and symbols and rituals of traditional religion behind, while providing a foundation for morality that was grounded solely in human reason. If you think about it, they kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater. With its emphasis on reason and intellect, traditional religious humanism had little place for qualities of awe and reverence and religious experience. Humanism understood that the religious dimension of life was a heightened sense of personal life and a cooperative effort to promote social well-being. And humanism, at its core, was finding foundations for expanding all of our potential, yet the hallmark of religion cut out languages of reverence and even reference to God. What a juxtaposition. And yet both were such a big part of the Unitarian experience within our Unitarian congregations, and also in Universalist congregations. For those of you new to Unitarian Universalism, it wasn't until the 1960s that Unitarian and Universalism merged into one denomination, thus why we have this really long name that nobody knows how to explain. As a child in the 70s in a Unitarian congregation that was really based and identified as humanist, I had a secret. I wanted my own little house by Walden Pond. I felt a deep connection with reverent language about nature and my own growing sense of interconnectedness with nature. My great-grandmother had a garden, and she grew tomatoes and had a big fig tree, and she taught me about how to help the worms grow and what to do with eggshells and where to put them to keep the plants alive. Nature was a place of wonder for me. I yearned for the language at my congregation for a way to express this. And I have to admit, Emerson does that a really, really good job now, doesn't it? So within this humanist place in which I was going to Sunday school and learning all about the thoughts and experiences of religious history, much like a class of anthropology. And while that was good, I still yearn for religious experience. I worried that as I became a teenager and wanted to express this more and more, that there was a fear that this would be the slippery slope into too much spiritual God talk. And I understand now that humanism had taught me to be detached from the full understanding of the importance of me being a human being connected to the world itself and to each other and to all of nature, as a clear understanding that I was a part of that. So in hindsight, Unitarian Universalism at that time revered the intellectualism of religious freedom over the religious experience and the foundations of religion itself. Now, I'm not talking about the history of religion, nor the institution of religion, but the intention and purpose of religion is that human beings have always created a set of beliefs for themselves. We have always had a sense of wonder and the ineffable significance of life. And you can see that in a child's eyes as they play in nature. We have always brought our experiences of the natural world, of philosophy and science forward to create meaning in our lives. Not just what is rational and in our thought, but religious experience is that which we make sense of our own experiences of being alive and knowing that we die, and that in between birth and death we make sense of joy and loss and grief and wonder. And when we make meaning of our lives through all these experiences, that itself is the religious endeavor. Now, I want to share with you that I did choose to go to seminary, which explains that I am a little bit of a theology nerd. I studied the Humanist Manifesto in the Catholic high school that I went to. And it was a great primer. I have such gratitude for that Catholic experience of religious classes every day, because it gave me the opportunity to fine-tune what I did experience even in my humanist congregation. The Catholic Church gave us the Humanist Manifesto as an example of what was wrong with it. And I connected to it. I found a sense of meaning in the exploration of science and the changing of people's lives through understanding our place in the universe. But I came to understand in that class that there was not just one Humanist Manifesto, there was a second. And the second Humanist Manifesto acknowledged that science couldn't explain it all. And the Holocaust couldn't be explained by human reason. And the advent of nuclear power and the reality of nuclear war could not just be explained and understood by human reason. The question was asked between that writing of the first and the second was, how could these atrocities occur? Is human reason enough? And the answer was no. The Humanist Manifesto, the second version, was released in 1973 and also incorporated ideas of the burgeoning feminist movement at the time and the beginning of postmodernism. And yet, right after that, was the beginning of the understanding of our environmental crisis. Do you remember that thought in the late 70s and early 80s when it became clear of what was happening by our own hands? So in 2003, there was a third Humanist Manifesto. It recognized that we are connected to each other and the natural world in a way that we have never acknowledged before. And this third manifesto, the nerd that I am, made my heart sing. Because what was in it was a return and a blending of those two histories of transcendentalism and humanism. It brought back a religious language of awe and wonder and reverence. It allowed us to find our place in the universe and our responsibility to make sense of our relationship within interconnected nature. Religious language. Yours might be God, spirit, love, joy, goddess. What is your language? What word of that gives you meaning did I not say? Tell me. The universe. Children? Grandchildren. Love. Nature. I didn't hear that. Say it again. Miraculousness. Woo, that's a good one. In her spiritual autobiography, The Spiral Staircase, religious scholar Karen Armstrong writes, "In the course of my studies, I have discovered that the religious quest is not about discovering the truth or the meaning of life, but about living as intensely as possible in the here and now. The idea is not to latch onto something superhuman or to get to heaven, but instead to discover how to be fully human every day." This whole framework has a really long name. It is humanistic religious naturalism. But that doesn't make for a very good elevator speech, does it? It's hard enough to say what it means when you identify as a Unitarian Universalist. Can you imagine saying, "I'm a Unitarian Universalist who is a humanist religious naturalist"? Doesn't come through, does it? That would have to be a really tall building. I'll close that with our grappling of making sense of our lives, from birth to death and all that happens in between it, we are seeking poetry to describe that which gives us meaning. Our multilingual, diverse religious experience of being within Unitarian Universalism is not easy. It's hard enough to even describe. But what we feel is compelled to sit next to a person who might have a different framework than you. They might have a different religious practice than you. But what matters is that we are here together seeking a way to make sense of our lives. We are doing this with different practices, with the intent of finding love at the center of all we do, by making this world a better place, and by living in the present, aware and acknowledging awe and wonder in all we see and dance in. And with this in mind, I think because of the time, we're going to skip the closing hymn, because I went a little over. Unless you want to sing. No, okay. I saw a very clear no. So somebody said I do? Okay, let's vote. Let's vote. We believe in democracy. Okay. Singing. Let's sing. Okay, we'll sing. Let's sing. Okay. We're going to sing for the beauty of the earth. And for those who are using the hymnal, we're going to sing verse 1, 2, and 3 and skip number 4. Thank you. You know, when I ever think of skipping the closing hymn, it's because I know Millie's going to be mad with me. Millie, I love you if you're listening. The closing words are, in this time and in this place, we've come to the end of our service, but our connection to each other and this community always remains. Together we walk a path of justice. We speak words of love. We live the selfless deed. We trod gently on the earth, and we fill this world with compassion. And until we meet again, may you have a wonderful week and be blessed.
All right, let's get Cora back up here for our chalice extinguishing. Thank you, Cora. All right, we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. All right, for today's announcements, I think it's just be here next week. You will hear from our own Alex Douglas about the meaning of life. So don't miss it. One shot. As our service ends, go now in peace and take peace wherever you go. Thank you.